Just yesterday, on November 19, 2025, NASA finally opened the curtain on something a lot of us have been waiting for. Quietly, they held a live broadcast and shared brand new pictures of that visitor from another star, 3I Atlas. Images taken by spacecraft that weren't even built to look at comets. And right at the start, the man in charge looked straight down the camera and said, clear as day, to address the rumors right from the beginning, this is a comet, plain and simple.
But here's what hit me hardest when those pictures came up. Even with everyone saying it's natural, the thing on the screen existed before our sun ever lit up. And it just flew past Mars, close enough for our machines to reach out and touch it with light. Hold that thought for a moment, because today, a Harvard scientist named Avi Loeb wrote something that made me stop and read twice. He wasn't surprised by what NASA showed. He even predicted it almost word for word an hour before the broadcast started. But he's asking questions the rest of us are almost afraid to whisper. And I think we ought to sit with them together, the way grown men do when something doesn't quite add up.
First, let's look at what NASA actually put on the table yesterday, fair and square. Hubble gave us fresh views, a perfect glowing teardrop wrapped in dust and gas. Two tails trailing behind like smoke from a distant fire. James Webb looked in infrared and let us feel the warmth of the hidden core, maybe 2 or 3 miles wide, wrapped in a cloud bigger than planets we know.
Then came the pictures from Mars that had been locked away during the government shutdown. MAVEN and HiRISE turned their cameras while the comet sailed just 19 million miles overhead. You can see Mars itself glowing quietly in the corner while this stranger slides past, waving with a tail made of water older than any ocean on the red planet. Even the little punch satellites studying the sun caught it slipping around the corner. An old Soho stacked hundreds of frames just to pull a faint whisper out of the glare. Missions like Lucy and Psyche, on their way to completely different places, paused to take a snapshot. All of them saying the same thing: water ice, carbon dioxide, a touch of cyanide. Familiar stuff, just mixed a little differently, like a recipe from the other side of the galaxy.
And there it was again, that strange spike of dust pointing straight toward the sun. Perspectives, they say? Just an illusion. Beautiful all the same. NASA's best guess yesterday is still a nucleus 1 to 3.5 miles across, dark, ancient, and perfectly natural.
But this morning, Avi Loeb put up a piece titled, "There is nothing more deceptive than an obvious fact." He quoted Sherlock Holmes and said NASA should have talked about what we still don't understand instead of closing the book so fast. He pointed out that amateur astronomers in the last few weeks have caught tightly collimated jets stretching 1 million kilometers, both toward the sun and away from it. Jets so straight and narrow, they almost look drawn with a ruler.
He reminded everyone that this comet is 1,000 times more massive than the last interstellar visitor we saw, Borisov. and 1,000,000 times more massive than Oumuamua. In empty interstellar space, you'd expect to find 1,000,000 little ones before something this size ever showed up, unless, he says, it was aimed right at the habitable zone on purpose. He's not shouting aliens. He's just saying, keep the door cracked open until every measurement is in. By December 19, when the comet swings closest to Earth, 170 million miles, still no danger, bigger telescopes and Hubble and Webb will study those jets close enough to measure their speed and what they're made of. Natural ice pockets warmed by sunlight, or something else? We'll know soon. I respect NASA. They've earned that. And I respect Avi Loeb for having the courage to ask the uncomfortable questions out loud. Both can be right at the same time. It's probably a comet, and we'd be fools not to look a little harder while it's still in the room.
Sometimes the universe hands us something so rare we almost don't know what to do with it. A piece of ice that remembers a Milky Way before our star was born, flying through our sky right now, saying hello and goodbye in the same breath. Right now, on this November 20th night, it's already turning for home. If you step outside before dawn these next weeks and point a small telescope east, you might catch a fuzzy glow low in Virgo. It won't dazzle you, but you'll know what you're looking at, and that changes everything. We are tiny, my friend, but our curiosity is enormous. If these quiet nights under the stars mean something to you too, consider subscribing so we keep finding each other when the next wonder arrives. There's always a chair saved right here. I'll leave the porch light on for you. See you next time.